What's up, YouTube and Twitch? We're gonna do a live crafting session of I-84 plus Abyssal Jewels because I've been selling these like crazy lately for a lot of currency. So I'm just gonna try to show you what I look for while chaos spamming them to make some bank. Most expensive one I've sold I think was like 30 or 40x. In standard you can potentially make mirror tier jewels, like good enough jewels that are so hard to craft that people will potentially mirror them. These jewels have such an extreme range of rolls that like people will actually pay to mirror a jewel. Damn, if that was daggers or something that would have been good. That's an example of something that is pretty good. This is T1 life, crit multi, and T1 fire. Yeah, it's actually 4 T1s, right? But shock chance is kind of bad. Crit multi with axes doesn't make sense. So it's like, you just don't keep stuff like that. For these are murderous side jewels, so these are the attack-based ones with swords, axes, daggers, claws, maces, staves, etc. So you're kind of looking for ones like this, for example. Flat lightning, fizzes extra fire if you've dealt a crit recently, and accuracy. For swords, swords can go Ellie pretty easily. So you're gonna want something like this, and I could potentially exalt this. I'm going to anyways, just for funsies. And if that had been a really high fire damage roll, this would probably be worth quite a bit. It's still pretty good actually because it's T1 accuracy. It goes 200 plus, lots of flat Ellie and some extra phases fire. Like that's a good jewel. I can probably sell it for more than the X that I spent on it, right? And again, these are all I-84 plus. The highest tier rolls on jewels is 84, but if you have anything over like 75, it's probably fine. That has a lot of potential. Onslaught on kill doesn't sound like it's really good, but for mapping builds, for example, especially with these jewels, the wand and bow jewels, onslaught on kill is really hard to get through your class and through your ascendancy generally, through your skill points on the tree, whatever. There's like one node on the tree that gives onslaught to everybody, and then there's like the axe node that gives onslaught from kills, but most of the other ways to get onslaught are through ascendancy. So if you can get a single jewel with onslaught on it, that may be enough to keep you with onslaught buff throughout the entire map, right? And that's really, really powerful. Yeah, I kind of just chaos spam until I see a lot of flat damage, and then I check what kind of damage it is. If it's maces, Ellie attack mace builds aren't really a thing, so I just kind of roll past it. This one, Unholy Might and Fizz 2 attacks are both really good, but the cold damage and the avoid stun are bad, so I'm just gonna roll past it. Yeah, I'm looking for like life high damage like that. That's really good. Attacks if you've dealt the crit recently. Again, swords, crit swords, pretty common build. Got some life, got some cold, got some attack speed if I've dealt the crit recently. I can exalt this. I hit more cold damage. Another T1 cold damage roll actually. Damn, if that life roll was T1, that would have been a really fucking good jewel. It's still really good, but it's middle tier life, so not as good as it could have been. You're just looking for a ton of flat damage though. These jewels are stupid amounts of flat damage for a lot of builds. Like that, if this was daggers or claws or swords, I would consider exalting this, since it's double T1 flat lightning rolls, which is huge. Wanders, bows, any Ellie attack build, that's a lot of lightning damage, and it just does not work with staves. Staves are basically the only thing in this that I will just always reroll because they're trash. I am looking for a very specific set of combinations for this character. That's almost good. Crit axes, that was weird. Like, I need to replace this jewel. Looking for these mods, but for maces. And I have not been able to do it yet. I've crafted a ton of these jewels. They're just rough to get to happen. Ugh. T1 fizz, T1 attack speed if you've crit recently, but maces with crit? Okay, this is an example of something that is like borderline exalt worthy. I'm probably going to exalt it anyway just cause. Actually no, I'm going to try to null off the cold version first, but that's like T1 life, T1 lightning, right? I failed miserably. If you annul before you exalt, the annul is more expensive than the exalt, or sorry, less expensive than the exalt, so if I brick it immediately, I don't have to waste the exalt. And I tend to be pretty aggressive with how I craft these. I mean, obviously I'm on standard, I have a lot of currency to waste. If it fucks up, it's fine. I'm still in the profit margins. Like, I mean, I've made close to 120x a day from these jewels. So I'm not super worried about it. If I brick an X or two, it's fine. Ugh. Double fizz, but bad fizz and no life. That's still pretty good, but I don't know. I'm looking for T1s for my particular jewels, and they are pretty hard to hit. And life fizz, accuracy, mace, no. But as you can see, you can be pretty picky with these, and like they are the same style crafting as normal jewels. Except for normal jewels, the rare ones, like these for example, they don't have tiers. A lot of people like think that crafting these type of jewels is the same as crafting abyssal jewels. So if you have a 4 good roll jewel, like a 4 prop good roll like this, is going to cost you, I don't know, a couple X to 20X depending on who it is and what league it is and what time of the league it is, right? Because they don't have tiers. If I had 4 T1s on an abyssal jewel, it gets a little different. Because it's much harder to hit all T1s on something like this. That's really close to being insane. Yeah, that's T1 Fizz, T1 Lightning, and damage penetrates resistances. Those are all 3 really good mods for early attack builds. The life regen is bad, since it's early attack build's probably gonna take Fall Pact most of the time. I could annul that, or I could just sell it as a 3 prop with a bad roll. I think I'm just gonna keep that and sell it. I don't know, we'll see. I might annul it later. I tend to like go through these as I'm pricing them out later. I'm like, oh yeah, I could annul that, and then I'll just brick it immediately. T1 multi, T1 lightning. Those of you that don't know how to do this, if you go to options, UI, advanced mod descriptions right here, it's off by default. If you turn it on, you can then hold alt over an item and it'll tell you the tiers. But you tend to memorize them eventually. If you craft a lot, you'll start memorizing the tiers of them pretty quickly. Standard League, yep. This is standard. Standard is where all the art happens. That's pretty good. Lots of flat damage to daggers and some crit multi. Not the highest tiers of rolls by any means, but that's still a lot of flat damage. So I'll keep that one. Alright, so this is a different type of jewel. This is a minion jewel. The ghastly eye jewels are for minions. So these ones I'm looking for life or ES. And then I'm looking for like minion damage if you've cast a minion skill recently. Is really good. I sold one of these earlier. That was kind of underpriced. I think it was like 6x, but it was T1 life, T1 ES, all res for minions, and minions deal extra damage if you cast a minion skill recently. And like, that should have been a lot more. This is actually, okay, so this is different. This is life mana regen, right? Which like, that's not mana, that's not minion related, but Mind Over Matter like regen builds, like Righteous Fire for example, would love that. Taunt on hit with attacks doesn't make sense though. I'm still gonna keep it, because life regen Mind Over Matter RF is a thing. So I'm gonna keep that just because. We'll cross some more minion ones. See if we can make a good one for you. But yeah, that minion damage if you cast a minion skill recently is the dumbest thing, because like if you're playing a minion build, the only time that you're not doing that is when you're in your hideout, which is never, shouldn't be. There, right there. Minion damage if you've used a minion skill recently. That's what we want. Hey Purple, what's up? But of course, everything else is kind of bad. Looking for high life or high ES with that minion roll. You could exalt that, but these are pretty easy to get, since there's only that one specific roll and it doesn't really have any crazy tiers. Again, this is another RF jewel. Life, dodge, life regen while moving. You could just sell that as an RF jewel, but I want minion jewels at the moment. Depending on what type of minion you're using, determines whether or not, or determines what kind of like damages you want. Like this, for example, if this had been life, I would have kept this, no question. Minion attack casting if your minions have killed recently, and then minion damage if you use a minion skill recently, that'd be great. Taking a few days break from PvE, playing some Far Cry, been good? Nice. Yeah, I've been taking random breaks to play Diablo 2. I should have rolled past that one, oh well. D2's been fun though. It's a good reminder of like why I like PoE so much, just because I love D2. Alright, I'm gonna go on D&D so I can like record. I'm getting spammed. Which is good, but I'm trying to do a crafting session here, man. And go back and save Billy. Who's Billy? Life, all res, minion damage if you used a minion skill recently. That'll work. That's what we want. I need to separate. I have too many things in my inventory. These are all rolled, right? Yeah. Roll this guy next. Billy Harrington. I don't know who that is. Life, res, minion attack, and cast speed. This could work. I'm gonna exalt this for funsies. 2 to 3 fire damage. I'll probably still get more than X out of it. Yeah, I was really bad at D2 when I was a kid. All I did was like get to level 30-ish and then do cows forever and then stop playing. But I only played it when I was at my cousin's house in Canada, like a couple times a year, if that. So it wasn't super... I didn't have a lot of time to do it. That's really good. That's triple T1. And we have an open suffix. So if I hit the minion damage thing is a suffix of authority. So if I hit that on this jewel, like this would be insane. Blind on hit. That's not awful. It's not good though. I'm gonna brick it. It's not bricked yet. Okay, now it's bricked. Cast speed, life, attack, and cast speed. Somebody bought one of these earlier from me for like couple X with the double cast speed life roll, so I feel like I'm gonna exalt that one. Oh wait, it's full, my bad. That's fine, we'll keep it and sell it. You did cast as a kid, that's fucked up. You know what I mean, fuck off. I don't do price checks in Fel, do the price check command. See if we can get in a couple good ones. Actually, we've probably seen enough of the minion ones, huh? Let's move on to a bow wand jewel. These ones are kind of the same as the murderous eye jewels. They're attack-based wand and bows. So wanders love flat damage. Bow characters also love flat damage. If you can get a lot of flat damage, like that, for example, double T1s. I'm gonna annul that accuracy, maybe? No. If you hit a ton of flat damage to a wanderer bow, they will pay a lot for it. For some reason, wanderers and bow characters tend to be like the richest characters, and they'll pay the most. This is really good. Remember that onslaught thing we talked about earlier? Onslaught on range characters is pretty hard to get. So this is a way to get it, and it has a decent amount of flat damage and some attack speed. So this will probably sell for a good amount. It's not crazy, but it should sell. Need to make room. I have too much shit in my inventory. I'll do 1 or 2 more so you can get the gist. This is actually not bad as is. Yeah, let's just leave that. I'm just gonna leave that one. That's already well rolled. Double LE, flat, pen if you haven't killed recently. That's good. So we get one more good one. One more. There we go. Man, that fizz damage is not good though. Nope. Ruined. I've made some really insane ones. That's pretty good. All T2s. T1 fire? There you go. That's a good one right there. Pretty good. Another thing to note about these jewels, if you have a weapon specific type of thing, or like if you have, say, I don't know, spell damage with maces or while holding a shield or whatever, it will try to stay to that theme. So this one, for example, because it has bows, it will only exalt bows until I get rid of this mod. So they're kind of easier to craft for specific things that way. Like if I had this, for example, has 2 sword rolls. If I annulled all of this off except for 1 sword roll, I'm more likely to exalt things that have to do with swords than things that don't. But yeah, there's a quick little crafting session for some abyssal jewels. And I'll show you some examples of really, really, really good jewels so you can keep it in mind. This is double T1 Fizz, crit multi, flat lightning. This is perfect for Doomfletch. It's 3 off, perfect divined. Like, this thing is insane. Here's the minion jewels we've talked about. We got life, attack and cast speed, cold damage, and minion damage if you use a skill recently. Same thing. This is perfect wander jewel. Double lightning fire. The highest damage rolls are lightning, and then after that you have fire. You can only get up to 2 of the same element, so that's perfect. Attacks if you dealt a crit recently, all the time as a wander. Pretty fucking good. What else do I have that's kind of stupid? This one's pretty good for bows. Crit multi-phase lightning, attacks if you crit recently, again insane. Here's the triple LE bow jewel for cold fire lightning. Triple LE is interesting. I wish it was double lightning fire, but still really good. And then I have this for a caster. This is a ridiculous jewel for Ethereal Knives, Blade Fall, Glacial Cascade, whatever, any of the Fizz to LE conversion spells. It's double T1 flat Fizz, T1 life, T1 multi. Just disgusting. I've also noticed that the Fizz rolls are harder to get than the LE rolls. Just like weapon crafting, LE rolls are a lot easier to hit, so keep that in mind when you're crafting. If you hit double Fizz on something, double T1 Fizz for swords or maces or axes or something like that, you can make a lot more currency than otherwise. But I hope you enjoyed that quick little session. Let me know the next thing you want to see me craft. I just need to hit T1 Fizz to claws. Let's do it. Fuck. Shit. Alright, it's dead.